The Las Vegas Raiders just made a big move, and it's turning heads. They've added a brand new wide receiver to their roster, Jack Beck. This guy isn't just another name on the list. He might be the missing piece the Raiders have been waiting for. Let's break it down. The Raiders had the 38th overall pick, and fans were holding their breath. But instead of sticking with that spot, they made a smart trade move, dropping back 11 spots and grabbing an extra third-round pick. Then, just as people were adjusting to that news, boom, another trade, this time with the Texans. That's 2 trade-backs in a row. Risky? Maybe, but it shows the Raiders were being very strategic. Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Now let's talk about Jack Beck. The Raiders didn't just pick anyone. They clearly had their eye on this guy. He's got size, about 6 feet 2 inches, with the kind of frame you need in a true X-wide receiver. He started his college career strong, grabbing 45 catches and over 500 yards as a freshman. That kind of performance isn't easy at the college level, especially early on. After a few seasons, he decided to move on and transfer out. But one thing remained clear. Jack Beck has the talent and the tools. The Raiders saw that. They made their choice. And now, Raider Nation has a new weapon on offense. After his time at Georgia didn't go as planned, Jack Beck made a bold move. He transferred to TCU. In his first season there, things were a bit quiet. But in his second year, he exploded onto the scene. That's when everyone really started to notice what he could do. In his final season at TCU, Beck racked up 62 catches, over 1,000 yards, and scored 9 touchdowns. That's not just decent. That's impressive. He proved that when he's given the chance, he can make magic happen on the field. Now, let's be clear. Jack Beck isn't the kind of wide receiver who's going to blaze past defenders with crazy speed. He's not built like Trey Tucker or Henry Ruggs. Instead, Beck wins with skill. He's a smart, sharp route runner who knows how to create space and get open. Think of players like Cooper Kupp, guys who beat defenders with footwork, timing, and awareness. Jack Beck fits that mold. He's not a flashy deep threat, but he's dangerous in a different way. Line him up against one defender, and he's likely to get open, unless he's facing one of the best corners in the league. Now, no one's saying Jack Beck is going to be a superstar right away. He has a lot to prove. But the Las Vegas Raiders saw his potential, and that's why they brought him in. If he keeps growing, he could be a real problem for defenses. Let's be honest. Every draft pick comes with questions. And while there's excitement around Jack Beck, it's okay to take a closer look. Sometimes, being a little critical helps us understand what a player really brings to the table. Now, when you think of stars like Davante Adams, you picture crisp routes, explosive footwork, and the ability to shake defenders with a single move. Jack Beck isn't as flashy, but he shares something important: precision. His route running is sharp. He doesn't rely on speed to blow past defenders. Instead, he creates space with smart footwork and timing. He knows how to fake inside, cut outside, and keep corners guessing. That skill makes him a real threat in the passing game. And while he may not be a pure deep ball specialist, give him a step and he'll make the play. Beck has great timing, soft hands, and knows when to show them late to avoid giving defenders a clue. Now, here's where things get interesting. The Raiders didn't just grab Beck by chance. They traded down more than once and still landed him. That tells us something. They had their eyes on him the whole time. Whether it was pick 38 or later, the Raiders believed he was worth the wait. And he didn't just shine at TCU. At the Senior Bowl, where top talent gets one last chance to impress, Jack Beck was named MVP. That's no small title. It shows he steps up when the spotlight is on, and that kind of mindset is exactly what the Raiders need. Jack Beck didn't just show up at the Senior Bowl. He made a statement. With around 70 receiving yards, a touchdown, and multiple key catches, he stood out among the top prospects in the country. But what impressed most wasn't just the stats. It was how he got them. Against top-level cornerbacks, Beck consistently created separation. That's something you can't teach. For the Raiders, this matters. With Jacoby Myers handling a mix of routes and Brock Bowers able to stretch the field vertically, Beck adds a different flavor. His route running is crisp. He's not the biggest or the fastest, but his footwork and timing are elite. That makes him dangerous in one-on-one matchups. In fact, Beck might turn out to be an even better route technician than Bowers. While Bowers has explosive ability and can beat defenses deep, Beck brings a craftier, more technical edge. He understands space and how to use it. That said, let's not sugarcoat everything. Just because he fits the system doesn't mean he's a guaranteed star. Raiders fans have seen this before. Draft picks that looked good on paper but didn't pan out. It's fair to be cautious. Las Vegas has had its share of draft mistakes in the past. That's why it's important to judge each pick honestly. Jack Beck brings potential, no doubt, but now it's time for the coaches to develop him, and for Beck to prove he belongs. Let's be real. Raiders fans have seen draft picks go sideways more than once. We've lived through it. Some selections in the past were flat-out head-scratchers. Players were taken too early while obvious talent slipped away. Remember when the Raiders passed on stars like Jalen Carter or Darnell Wright? Those decisions still sting. That's why fans have learned not to blindly trust the draft process. Yes, Jack Beck looks promising, but the Raiders' front office has to prove they've learned from their past. Players like Tyree Wilson were picked as long-term projects, but when others were clearly more NFL-ready, it made you wonder what the plan really was. Now, the Raiders have a new face making draft decisions, John Spytek. He's stepping into a high-pressure role, especially after years of poor draft returns. The last regime under Dave Ziegler didn't exactly set the world on fire. Let's be honest, many of those picks didn't work out, and that's why Ziegler's no longer here. But things started to look better last year. Tom Telesco showed us what smart decisions could do. The hope now is that Spytek follows that path and proves he understands how to build through the draft. As for Beck, the talent is there, but the spotlight is now on the front office. Did they get it right this time? That's the big question. When the Raiders selected Jack Beck at 50th overall, some eyebrows were raised, but there's real promise in this pick. This isn't just a random gamble. Beck's final college season showed serious flashes of potential, and now it's about turning that into production at the pro level. Las Vegas is clearly sending a message. We're not settling for an average offense anymore. With Beck and Ashton Jeanty added to the roster, the Raiders are building weapons, smart, explosive, and ready to challenge defenses from day one. If Beck develops the way many think he can, this could go down as a smart move by John Spytek. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Other wide receivers, like Luther Burden, Kyle Williams, and that Iowa State standout, are all going to be watched closely. Raiders fans will naturally compare them to Beck. That's how it works in this league. Every pick gets measured against the guys taken after him. But here's the thing. Jack Beck has the tools. His route running is clean, his separation is legit, and when placed in the right system, he could absolutely shine. We've seen it before. Players like Jaden Daniels and Cam Ward had that one breakout year, and that was all it took to prove they belonged. Maybe Beck is in that same category. Now it's up to the coaching staff to unlock that upside, and up to Spytek to prove he picked the right guy for this offense.